Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where skincare is all about progression over perfection because perfection doesn't exist. Listen, we all make mistakes. I've been on YouTube for like 7 years, doing this professionally and properly for maybe 4. I don't actually know, I'll have to have a look. But of course, during that time, not only have I come a long way as far as like learning more about skincare, but the skincare industry has come such a long way. The amount of innovations that have been made in the last like 2 years, like let alone the 7 years that I've been doing this, has been amazing. The amount of free education online, the amount of educators who have come online as social media influencers. We have a wealth of knowledge at our hands, at our fingertips. So I'm going to look back at some of the products that I used to love using. Some of these skincare products that are in my very first like skincare routine videos. Back in the days when I used to think you could detox your skin, you know, and kind of roast those or comment on those lovingly. Yeah, and just remember the good old days. But if you use these products and they work for you, please continue to use them. These are just products that I possibly wouldn't consider using nowadays as I've got to know my skin a little bit better. So let's start off with one of my very first skincare routine videos. I think it's my first ever video actually. Was a simple, no, second, I can't remember. Second skincare routine video. And one of the products that I used to love these two products I'm going to talk about next is Lush Kohl Face. Now, listen, with all due respect to Lush, as much as I wouldn't really use their products now, Lush is what got me into skincare. I had very bad acne-prone, breakout-prone skin. I would pick my spots, so I'd have like red all over my face, have blackheads, very oily skin. But when I got to Lush, like I used to go shopping in like the Oracle in Reading, I was drawn in by the smell, and I spoke to one of the people that worked there and said, you know, this is my skin, this is what my issues are, and they took me right over to what was then called Kohl Face. I believe it's called like black soap or something now. I don't know, something shit. And they told me that would be perfect for my oily prone, breakout prone skin. And I'll be honest with you, whatever it did, it really worked for me. It really kind of helped settle my skin, soothe my skin, stop me breaking out. And it made me want to look into ingredients and why these ingredients were working for me. And it kind of spurred on my love for cosmetics. So, you know, it's a product that I have a deep love for. It has been reformulated, what I believe is more than once over the years since I used it and since I actually used to work for Lush in my university days. But their description of this product, they say, when your skin feels like it needs a deep clean, use this clarifying charcoal facial soap. It's gentle enough for your face, but you can use it all over your body. Rosewood and sandalwood add a comforting scent to help keep skin clear. Now, some of the nicer ingredients we have in here is actually licorice root, which I like for like evening out skin tone and soothing, glycerin, and that's it actually. Looking at it now. Fair trade organic cocoa butter, fine. Extra virgin coconut oil, fine. Water, obviously fine. Then we've got perfume, linalool, sandalwood, rosewood oil, powdered charcoal, a bit of citric acid, some fragrance, and some colorings as well. Really? I don't know. I don't know why it works so well for me. I swear it used to have tea tree in, and I feel like that's what really kind of made it the best for me. My skin reacts really well to tea tree. It's still an ingredient I use to this day, obviously diluted. Would I now recommend this to somebody who was in the same position I was back then? No, but also back then, with all fairness to me, we didn't have the range of skincare products that we do have now back in those days. Sticking with Lush and talking about tea tree, their tea tree water, which I considered a toner back then, was one of my favorite products of all time. Again, when I was breaking out, when my skin was really kind of like sore, inflamed, itchy, this would really calm my skin down and really help my skin feel less oily. Do I think it was balancing out my oils back then? No, but I feel like it was. I feel like I had control. So this is essentially a toner in like a spray bottle. They say that this refreshing tea tree toner contains cleansing and balancing tea tree, juniper berry, and grapefruit waters that gets complexions looking luminous and fresh, while also keeping excess oils in check. So it kind of did. And in here we have glycerin, we have sodium hyaluronate, so it was really nice and hydrating. Then we have aloe and of course tea tree as well. Honestly, this isn't the worst thing, and I would still recommend it for anybody who wants to kind of like soothe and calm their skin, especially breakouts. But again, we do have that unnecessary fragrance in there. It's Lush. It's one of those all natural places, right? And they do put in some preservatives, which I like. I'm fine with that. I like preservatives so my skincare doesn't go moldy. But they do this thing where it's like, you know, limonene found naturally within the skincare ingredients. It doesn't matter if it's natural or synthetic, it can still be an irritant. Potentially for some people. I'm fine with it. It seems to work for me absolutely fine. So starting off with not the worst ones in the world, but they are ones that I'd be a little bit like, probably weren't the best for me back then. Something I used to swear by that I just couldn't imagine ever doing again is steaming my face and then using a blackhead extraction tool. You know, like the things with like the little loops on the end, because I don't really think this had any benefit for my skin, right? The main goal of this is to get gunk out of your face. Excess sebum, oils, blackheads. And really for me, what I was doing here was softening my skin, making it more prone to the damage I was about to do with a blackhead extraction tool. You know, I was like digging at it. Then all the gunk that was coming off, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Blah, blah, blah. And then I'd be left with a red nose for like 2 weeks, where I'd dug at my skin too much. When really, I get really nice results from just using a BHA and niacinamide. You know, if you're really wanting pores to look better overall, cleaner, clearer, appear smaller, removing gunk from your pores, whatever that may be, having a good cleanse, getting, you know, all your product off properly off your face, and then using something like a BHA that can actually get into the pores, oil soluble. Products like niacinamide is going to give you that look overall without having to like damage your skin as much as I did back then. But it was almost like I was doing like something really sparry. I was like, oh yeah, like this is what the professionals do, so I'm gonna do it. It must work really well kind of thing, when it's just the worst thing I think I've ever done. So another exact product that I used to love, and a lot of my early videos were actually based around, was Nature Republic's aloe vera gel. Now, this isn't necessarily bad, but it's a shit moisturizer. I used to use this as my only moisturizer. Bearing in mind, when I started using this, I wasn't the oily, spotty teenager that I used to be. I was in my early to mid 20s. My skin has settled a lot more. My oils were in control. And the issue with this as a moisturizer, and I don't usually say this because alcohol isn't necessarily inherently bad for your skin, but the only issue with this product is it was very alcohol heavy, in the sense that there was alcohol in there in order to kind of like help the products penetrate into your skin, making this ultimately quite a dried down moisturizer. Think more of like a serum. So I put this on and it disappeared. Do you know what I mean? Like, it'd be really cool and soothing, and then it would just be gone. And back then I loved that, because I was like, if I could use a moisturizer that feels like it's not actually on my skin and isn't going to make me greasy and oily throughout the day, then that's perfect. When really what this was doing was not providing me with any moisture whatsoever, and I'd be using this morning and night. We got glycerin and sodium hyaluronate, so my skin was fairly hydrated, I guess, but there wasn't anything to kind of like keep that all locked in throughout any of my routine. And of course we have aloe leaf juice, which makes up a huge percentage of the product, but it just wasn't, right, if you have very, very oily skin, knock yourself out, go for it. If you want to use something soothing and calming on the skin before you then go into your moisturizer, or maybe on sunburnt skin, incredible product, amazing product. It's a best-selling iconic K-beauty product for a reason. But as a standalone moisturizer, this was just very drying, dried me right down. And, you know, it made me look matte and dry as well, you know? It wasn't, if I was going to use this again, I'd use this purely to help shave my face and to cool down rosacea. I'd pile it on and help it cool down my skin, or I'd use it as an extra hydrating step as like a serum. But as a standalone moisturizer, I don't know why I pushed it so much. I just thought I found a K-beauty product I loved. This was my gateway into K-beauty, this one product, but it just wasn't. It's not like the greatest, you know? Oh, this product was so bad. This product was really bad, but I talked about it all the time. This is the Innisfree Volcanic Pore Toner. Again, this came to me in a time where my teenage skin was long gone, but I still thought I had oily skin. I would get greasy throughout the day, but I wasn't really oily. And I was still at this stage where I was like, stripping your skin is good for oily skin. Get all that moisture, all that oil off your face and dry your skin out. And this is the most drying toner I've ever used. You can see it's kind of in two parts, and that bottom sandy bit is volcanic ash. No, volcanic ash. Volcanic clusters, they call it, and spheres. When really this is like a clay. And what it's doing is taking away all that excess oil, which is fine. They say to use this if you want fresh and matte skin by caring for excess sebum. And this, for me, was a typical example of why toners usually get a bad rep, because people think they are astringents. You know, people still think we're using the clean and clear, blackhead stuff, you know, that purple stuff that stung your face. But this was a incredibly stripping, drying toner that would leave you feeling matte as a piece of paper. You know, you were just very kind of like, you could run your fingers along your face and like almost felt like sandpaper. It was so drying. It's like a clay mask in liquid form. That's what it was. It was that kind of like drying down. You know, I maybe use it in the summer if, you know, when I know my skin is acting up. But for me, when I use a product like this that is so drying, my skin tends to act up. It needs that hydration, it needs that moisture, it kind of needs that, you know, kind of like humectants in my toner in order for my skin to behave. One of the first sunscreens I used when I kind of started realizing sunscreen was a daily use, all the time product within the skincare realm is the Kiehl's Ultralight Daily UV Defense Sunscreen SPF 50 PA4 pluses, a non-Japanese and Korean brand that uses kind of like PA+++ system. I'd never seen like another brand do that. So they say that this is a lightweight, remember that, lightweight facial sunscreen to protect your skin against pollution. They say their daily non-comedogenic sunscreen provides all-day hydration, absorbs quickly, and leaves comfortable, non-greasy finish. Remember that. So overall, as a product, it's nice. It's a mix of chemical and mineral sunscreen, but leans more to the chemical sunscreen kind of side. So it goes on light, you don't see it, it feels like a moisturizer, and it's got some nice antioxidants in, right? Other than that, though, this is the thing. I bought this hang on, how do I explain this? So I think I like this because I was surprised at how lightweight it was for a Western sunscreen. Is that the right term? Western, non-Korean and non-Japanese sunscreen. Because all I had used before is whatever I could pick up at Boots. It was greasy, it was shiny, left a very white cast. So this took me by surprise. But it's nothing compared to my favorite Korean sunscreens. Throughout the day, it would get greasy, it would get oily. Good luck reapplying this because you have to reapply it over the grease that this product had made over my face during the day. And at the time, like I was just discovering like Yes Style and Style Korean, and this Kiehl's sunscreen was easily accessible to me. You know, I could buy it online and get it the next day kind of thing. So I feel like I didn't have as much access to easy access to Korean sunscreen as I do now. But back then I was like, you know what, this is fine, this is good, this will do. But I remember like liking this for about 4 hours a day and then being like, right, it's reapplication time now, and have to blot my face down with blotting tissue, which I bought a lot of back then as well. It's just not the best. But then I also think in my head, you know, have they reformulated this since? I've not used it for probably 5 years. They could have a better formulation now. Sunscreen's come a long way. Listen, we have to end on a brand that I absolutely love. But with every brand that I love, of course there's going to be the odd shit product. You know, I can't like everything. And one of my favorite brands of all time ever is COSRX. But one of my least favorite products of all time ever is a Centella Blemish Cream. I don't know how to explain this. It's like a creamy spot cream that when I first got this I was like, how the fuck do I use this? Like, what is this? So let me explain it to you. Let me read the description first of all. So they say the Centella Blemish Cream is a fast-acting spot treatment cream comprised of zinc oxide and Centella asiatica leaf water to help normalize the sebum production by calming down problematic areas and clearing the pores while preventing further breakouts and loss of moisture. It improves the appearance of acne and blemishes and relieves stress skin. And when we look at the ingredients, it's actually really nice. So we have things like zinc and tea tree, which for me are perfect ingredients for breakouts, antioxidants like centella and tea tree, and glycerin for some nice-ish hydration. This doesn't feel nice though. This is my issue with the product, is they do say you can use it as a direct spot treatment or all over. When you use it as a direct spot treatment, it's almost like too creamy to use as a spot treatment. I expect my spot treatments to dry a little so they're secure on the skin. You know, I don't want it drying down like toothpaste and cracking off your skin and drying down your skin, but I want to be able to go to bed with this spot treatment on, and this just didn't do that. And if you wanted it to stay on your skin, you had to rub it into your skin, and by the time you've rubbed this into a direct spot, it's not really a direct spot treatment because you just put the thinnest layer over your spot. As an all over face cream, it's incredibly white. I feel like the zinc is quite heavy in here. And if you got the tiniest bit of dry skin, this is going to cling to that area of dry skin so badly. It's going to show every bit of texture on your skin, while it's also showing up in your hairline, in your eyebrows, in your beard, leaving a white cast. So this is a PM for me. It was a nighttime cream only. However, back in the days when I used to use it, I worked, shift work and then a 9 to 5 eventually. I couldn't use this the night before I had to go to work because it was a pain to get off in the morning. Not because it dried down, but it almost had this kind of like waterproof texture to it that when I went to scrub it off in the shower, if I didn't purposely massage cleanser over where the product was thicker for a while, it wouldn't come off my skin. I'd go to work with like white in the corners of my nose and in there, and I have to be like, oh, I don't know what that is, or oh, I didn't rub in moisturizer properly, whatever. So I guess the user experience of this isn't very good. Again, I've not used it for a long time. I don't even know if they still sell it. I've not used it for a long time. They may have reformulated it since, but back then, as a calming and soothing product, it was nice. Like, I'll be honest, it felt really, really nice on the skin, but it was just like, I'd rather not deal with it if it was going to act like that on my skin and show up all the time and, not really do anything, I guess. So there we have some products that were always on my skincare shelf. Products I had to repurchase over and over because, I really thought I loved them. And maybe I did. When you don't have other amazing products to compare it to, they were good at the time. Let me know if you loved any of these or if you still use some of these as well. Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, you can watch some more product reviews here and some general light entertainment here, and I'll see you over there.